Welcome to this presentation by Larry Madrid, myself. I'm a professional engineer, a fellow of the American Society of Civil Engineers, and the president of Madrid CPWG in Florida. We're pleased to provide this intro to Consolid nanotechnology, a relatively little known but highly advanced method of stabilizing roads. This innovation is more than a small step. It is a wholly different way of designing and constructing roads, and yet it is a very straightforward and proven approach. Hope you enjoy the presentation. Our main office is located right in the very center of Florida, and even though our experience is much further beyond that, even international, Florida soils have unique challenges. It's no accident that we have a lot of beaches. Most of the state has very uniform beach sand near the surface, which is much weaker than other soils and aggregates typically used in road construction. The traditional road is comprised of an asphalt layer and then underlain by the road base, which is usually lime rock. So there's your asphalt, here's your lime rock, and then underneath your lime rock is the subbase, which is usually a compacted mix of sand, clay, and lime rock, or lime rock. Consolid is mixed into the base and the subbase of these zones, and creating a stronger, more resilient material than what was previously existing. Now, here's what the traditional road has an issue with. Water can get in through the cracks in the asphalt. Water can also come in laterally, and it can come up from the bottom through capillary action, okay? And so when water gets into the road base, it weakens it, and water is the enemy of traditional roads. On the other hand, Consolid, which would be represented by this orange layer right here, is much stronger. It resists cracking, and it repels water and resists penetration of water so that the strength of that road base does not diminish over time. This results in a significantly extended road life. So what is this material? Well, Consolid nanotechnology is a two-part chemical that's made up of, that is mixed in with the in situ or imported soil and or aggregate. Okay, so it consists of this liquid polymer that you see over here called Consolid 444 and this powder that looks a lot like cement, but it's not, and the powder is called solid dry. These two materials are mixed in with the soil. So here's how you do it. You start with site preparation. You would level off the on-site soils. You might perhaps bring in some lime rock, say 3 to 4 inches. We did not do that in this case. As you see here, we just cleared off the area and kind of leveled it up. The liquid component, Consolid 444, is mixed in with water into the water truck and then is distributed at 2% minimum applied on the road. The powdery solid dry is applied in a layer generally 1/4 of an inch thick or less. Very little of this material is needed, typically 1 to 2% of the dry weight of the soil or aggregate. You would then mix it, and so mixing takes place 12 inches thick using a rotating mixer like the Bomag shown here, or a Wirtgen mixer, which is a soil cement mixer. It could be necessary to rip the soils using a ripper during site preparation phase if mixing could be difficult on site. Now, the mixed soils, are then compacted using a vibratory drum roller. If the soil is clayey a sheep's foot roller may be required, but we found pretty good success in Florida with just a smooth roller. Compact at the optimum moisture content until at least 90% of the maximum dry density compaction is achieved. The amount of compaction is similar to standard compaction since you're only adding 1 to 2% of another material. I mean, honestly, it's hard to tell the difference. Here's an example of a haul road that was stabilized with Consolid. This dirt road is in Lakeland, Florida, and was on formerly mined land consisting of very clayey sand, and it had persistent problems that you see here on the left that made it, almost unusable at times during the year. Since stabilization, it's gone through 2 wet seasons without rutting, rilling, or potholing. Now, traffic is not very high on this road, but the loading is. The county uses 20-ton cubic yard dump trucks, and they're running on there every day. The road has performed well since it was stabilized in November of 2018. We learned about Consolid and began our own testing in 2016 to find out if the claims were valid for typical Florida road construction materials. For roads in Florida, the LBR test, or lime rock bearing ratio, is the de facto used strength test. And a strength of 100, or an LBR of 100, is required for road base. You can see that right here. We're talking about the 100. Now, every time that we mixed this material, it increased in strength. Fine sand didn't do quite so well, but it went from 25 to 50. Clayey sand went over LBR 100. In fact, that's like an LBR 120. The lime rock was over 200. That's 220. And the crushed concrete was 300. Now, here's the point. The highest strength that I had seen in 30 years of experience was about an LBR 140. So we're finding strengths that are literally off the chart, beyond the strength of anything that anybody has ever reported, as far as I know, as an engineer in Florida. So it was, these are excellent strength results and really got us excited about this material. Now, the DOT also did some testing independent from us, and they mixed sand with various percentages of Consolid. Here at the bottom, you're seeing that it's 1 to 2% of the strength, of the 1 to 2% Consolid added. Okay, you're seeing initially that at 48 hours, which is how long the test is supposed to be kept underwater before testing by a penetration method, you're seeing a consistent increase in strength with different percentages of Consolid. The more Consolid, the higher the strength. But the long-term strength is what the DOT did that nobody had ever done before. So they did 7 days, 14 days, 28 days, and 56 days. And what they essentially found was that the strength increased until 28 days and then leveled off after 28 days. So you see this very significant increase in strength. In fact, you can look at this yellow one here with 2% Consolid. It was a 136, but after a month, 28-day strength, you're at 280. So the strength gain is essentially 2.0. It doubled in strength after 28 days. Imagine that your LBR value is significantly undervalued from what it actually is at 28 days of curing time. So in summary, Consolid is a cost-effective method of stabilizing roads. It's been used around the world and now demonstrated 3 times successfully in Florida, and is planned to be demonstrated again by the DOT in one of their projects in fiscal year 2022. It provides a thick, strong, water-resistant layer on which to drive or lay your asphalt down and then drive. When I say that it's a cost-effective, here's what I'm talking about. We evaluated the statewide rolling average cost for lime rock base in place. And we used 9 to 12 inches thick because that is the most often used by the DOT. That was $16.71 per square yard. Now, Consolid materials are $10 to $11 per square yard. And then you would add the mixing cost, which is $2 or $3, $4 at the most, and typically would be the mixing cost. So you are at or less, you're certainly comparable with the cost of lime rock base. Now, we believe that lower cost than lime rock is available if you're mixing in place and you're mixing with something that has existing lime rock in the road base. You only need 2 to 3 inches of that, but if you've got some lime rock, remember the strength test that we showed you earlier, you're going to get a strength that's greater than LBR 150, and it's going to be water resistant, which means it's going to last a lot longer. The application for this system is for road maintenance and for new roads. And you can be significantly lower cost than black base, which we did check the DOT's cost again for that. And you would definitely be saving if you went for Consolid instead of black base. Finally, the Resilient Roads program is our trademark name for the program that we have to assist government agencies, including federal, state, and local, and private clients with their roads and highways. Resilient Roads encompasses not only the base, but the entire road design. Our sister company, Pavement Management Group, can evaluate roads and look for turnkey solutions to, along with us, to the base, the sub-base, the embankment, the asphalt, a turnkey solution that will be resilient. My email address is shown at the bottom of this page. I hope you give me some correspondence back. Also, you can find additional information on our website, www.madridcpwg.com/consolid. Thank you very much for listening.